I've suffered from mental health issues since the day I was born. My separation anxiety was so bad when I was first starting school that my mom used to volunteer every day at my school so she could be there with me because otherwise I would scream and cry when she'd try to send me off to school. I mentioned in my last video that I used to get so anxious that I would get fevers, get sick, and I'd have to go to school. My parents were sent so many truancy letters when I was in school because I'd missed that much school from just being so debilitatingly anxious. And I would sob and beg not to go to school. And then my mom would check my temperature and I'd have a fever, so she'd be like, "Yeah, you're sick, you can't go to school." But now I know the anxiety was causing the fevers. While anxiety is something that I've dealt with since birth, depression is something I never experienced until I was a preteen. Depression affected me a lot differently in middle school than it does now. Um, I would just stay in my room all day in bed. My room would be filled with just root beer cans, and all I would eat was french fries. Genuinely, I'd have a big plate, just a mountain of french fries on them. I barely drank water. I slept in a bed with just junk and maybe trash sometimes. But I would just be squished in a little corner of my bed while the rest of it is filled with depression room stuff. The point is everyone knew I was depressed because it was visually obvious. But now I'm on antidepressants, so my episodes are less obvious and less visually intense. I still feel things just as strongly, but I keep my curtains open all day. My bed only has my blanket, my pillow, my stuffed animal, and me when I sleep. This is my bed, but I don't sleep in this room, I sleep in that room. Um, this bed is storage for now, but I don't sleep there. My pain is a lot less noticeable. Only my mom can tell because she works from home, so she knows if the first time I leave my bedroom for the day is 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. When I was 13, I didn't want to get better because it felt like the only options were depressed or numb, and I'd rather feel pain than feel nothing at all. Um, but now with the medicine and having friends and having a better relationship with my family, my default is happy. Um, so when I get depressed and stuff, I just feel numb. Unless I'm going through an episode of grief, then I'm very depressed and sobbing and whatever, but most of the time my depression is numbness. I've been so numb recently, and I absolutely hate it. I just sit in my room all day at this very chair. I play, actually, it's Mario Kart all day, and I just sit here switching tabs, bored out of my mind, waiting for something to change, but nothing changes because I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. My doctor keeps raising my prescription dosage, every appointment, but nothing changes. I feel better for a while, but then I just end up numb again. I'm on 150 milligrams of Zoloft and 2 milligrams of Abilify to act as a booster for the Zoloft. 200 milligrams is the max Zoloft, which means I can only have that raised once more. And I do not want to raise the Abilify dose because when I first got on it, um, it caused a manic episode in me, and I couldn't sleep. I was wide awake every night, um, and it's just not fun. I'd rather not go through that again, you know? Even if it does help. I'd rather deal with depression than deal with manicness. My antidepressant has done so much good for my anxiety, but I still lack the motivation to exist as a person. So I still get as little done as when the thought of doing anything paralyzed me in fear, even though that fear is mostly gone. My depression got worse when I stopped going to school for my anxiety. It's like I can't make one feel better without making the other worse. Therapy helped my depression a lot, but it made my anxiety possibly the worst it's ever been. It's like I'm stuck in an endless loop of mental illness that I just have to deal with until I die. I hate having the type of depression that makes eating and sleeping and listening to music and watching movies just feel so painfully boring. I oddly, miss the pain and depression I used to get when I was younger because it made all my actions, or lack thereof, feel justified. It was okay to sleep away my days because being awake just caused endless pain and tears. But now I just sit here doing nothing because I'm bored, but then I don't do anything to make me not bored. And it's just an endless loop of sitting here and being bored. But then I leave my room and I talk to my family and whatever, and I smile while doing it because I love my family and I love talking to them. But then, it seems like nothing is wrong because in that moment, nothing is. But then I go back upstairs and I sit in this chair and I'm just bored and empty again. I guess I just wish I could live my life with no depression, no anxiety, no OCD, autism, eating disorders. I just wish I could exist as a normal person, even for a month. But I never will. I was born with this, and it will be with me forever. I just have to learn to cope with it the best I can. Bye.